What up? It's your boy T-Bird Reaction. Today is Wrestling Reaction Day, and about to do some partsFUNknown videos. Been trying to do these for a minute, get them out the way though. So I'm gonna do them back to back, not in the same video. You know, it would be nice to do them in the same video, as the both of them is kind of like the same thing. You know what? Depends on. I'm gonna do them separate videos. I ain't gonna do that. So anyway, you want to check out two videos that goes along with it. They go together though. We're gonna first check out 10 terrible feuds that ended with great matches, and 10 great feuds that ended with terrible matches though. You know, a lot of feuds is be terrible, such as, you know, because they don't like. They're either tired of the said wrestlers going at it, or why the feud happened why is the feud happening right now? Why are we getting the match in the first place? Right now we got like, why are we getting Lashley versus Almost and everything as well? You know, not Lashley. Lesnar versus Almost. The L. Why are we getting Lesnar versus Almost? I mean, Lashley Almost we already have already, and that was boss. Why are we getting anything Almost, to be honest? And the Lashley versus Wyatt was kind of questionable, but I was getting a little into it. But now it's might not happening because Bray hurt himself and all that, and probably out of action for WrestleMania. Who knows? And either way, we want to check out some top 10 terrible feuds that had some quite a good outcome at the end. So anyway, without further ado, let's check it out.
There's an old saying in life, not the hooks, I have a child. There's another old saying in life, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. The way you end up is secondary to the scenic route you take, and you know that because ultimately, the final destination is death. Cheerful business. In wrestling, it's the other way around. The match is almost always more important than the story that gets us there. After all, what's more heartbreaking than an amazing feud full of twists and turns that ends with an awful match? Makes you think, what's the point of any of this? Or to put it more simply, Randy Orton. However, sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes the feud is like wading through sweaty molasses, only for the blow-off match to be surprisingly incredible. It's kind of magical when that happens, when against all odds, a match rules, making it all worth it after all. I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown, and here are 10 terrible feuds that ended with great matches. While you're here, like and subscribe to partsFUNknown, or we'll have a terrible feud with you that will end in a great murder. Number 10, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam 2019. What a weird 2019 Seth Rollins had. He won the Royal Rumble, won World Championships at both WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and somehow ended the year about as popular as a skunk in a lift. Probably had something to do with A, this bastard match bastard, and B, him tweeting about how rich he was constantly. Doesn't change the fact that he's...
Okay, that's probably why it was like fans was getting wrestled with him, and that was sadly forced him to his heel turn. Well, now he's a face again, but yeah, a lot of folks was not feeling Seth as a face anymore around this time. I was like wondering why. You know me, I always give baby faces a pass no matter what though. But I wasn't understanding what the issue is, but I guess I see why in a way for folks that don't care about linemen that give anybody shit whether their faces or heel. But anyway,
it's going to be remembered as one of the best of all time, due in no small part to bangers like the main event of SummerSlam 2019. The feud going into that main event was arseholes. Brock winning Money in the Bank despite not being in the match, dancing around with the briefcase like your dad trying to teach you about the perils of gangs, cashing in, then murdering Seth every single week, just making him look like an absolute twat every
I think this done in leading to him cashing in on Kofi afterwards. I think, yeah.
Monday night. However, when the end result is a proper David versus Goliath masterpiece and a main event that's actually match of the night, we accept that sometimes there's a method to the Brock Lesnar booking madness. Number 9, Sheamus versus Big Show, Hell in a Cell 2012. You know how everyone hated Roman Reigns because they tried to make him into the new John Cena, aka an inhuman...
I'm licking the face because and not towards Roman. You know, at the time I had Roman back at the time as a baby face because I was like wondering why they was doing him dirty like that. But my side to the fans, she's down, and big side that's because them same fans who was shitting on Roman as a baby face and told him down Feuds is not on his dick as a tribal queef though, man. So yeah, side to some of them fans right there, especially some certain fans in a certain nation I used to be part of as well too. Well, a few other groups, including that want to be the Black NWO group as well too, and a good amount is in the and some Jobber nothing against the Jobber podcast. They're the cool people. Just some of their folks in the groups is a little whatever. Anyway, but always out the nation. Shout out to my faction at the time, who I still roll with and connect with as well too. That's Faces of the Nation, aka Honorable. I had a name for the Album Revolution as well too. You know what I mean? Duran, Be the Man, Bryce, Vati, Crystal King, Tony, and many others. Anyway, let's keep going.
Lead Chipper, stand-up comedian who shrugged off villains by winking at the crowd and saying to his opponent, "Yeah, I lost, but look at your weird penis." Well, WWE also did that with Sheamus in 2012, and it worked just as well, being in endless feuds with the likes of Alberto Del Rio and even worse, Big Show, never ever taking them seriously, winking, saying fella, and it was absolutely maddening until Hell in a Cell 2012, and Big Show made him pay for it with his ginger soul. For the most part, the match is actually not that great. The worst elements of Big Show's slow pacing and Sheamus's bland babyface in peril shtick, but somehow the match keeps going. And
this the one where he kept grabbing, he punched him twice.
Unlike every other time that Big Show has been the easily conquerable, unconquerable big boss, this time he remembered he was a giant and refused to die, resulting in a final stretch of a match that is genuinely wonderful
he socked him when he
and
hit the bro
unexpected from
kick.
both men who were so easily made bland by WWE's template.
Yeah, I remember that match. The match when he socked him, when he went broke and he socked him good. None against I was remembering Sheamus, but he did get him good. He did get him good when he punched with the bro kick, though. No lie. All kayfabe alum aside, that was a good move right there.
Storytelling. Number 8, Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, Money in the Bank 2018. After Backlash 2018, when their no disqualification match ended with synchronized dick kicks and a double 10.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. First off, they did Shinsuke dirty by not letting him win the title against AJ. And then they turned him heel. Then they decided to turn him heel as well too. And then they got him a half of him hitting AJ in the nuts that he did the first time he turned heel, and that's like been his like stick for a good minute though, man.
Count, there's no way that Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles will be remembered as anything other than a failure of a feud. Add to that cocktail with a capital cock, their WrestleMania match being watched by the sleepiest fans in all the land, them having another match in Saudi Arabia that ended in a double countout. You are completely justified in forgetting the fact that Money in the Bank 2018, their last man standing match, ruled. Did it rule to the point where it justified WWE booking 5 matches in 2 months between the two men? No, nothing could justify that. And thank you, WWE, for not doing that anymore since Dinosaur Dick had his claws prized off the book. But it's a really good match that deserves to be revisited. It even pays off the endless nut shots in a satisfying enough way. At least we got this one, I suppose. At least we got this. Number 7, Death Triangle versus House of Black, Double or Nothing 2022. Bloody hell, this feud went on a bit. All in all,
it did. I ain't gonna lie, this was going on too long, man. It was, man.
House of Black began feuding with.
Now, one other thing I like about it is why they had Death Triangle bringing Eric Redbeard to help him out, and they still lose. That's what I ain't like about that.
Death Triangle round about February, and the feud didn't pay off until May. That's some WWE levels of stretching things out. It all seemed super aimless as well. House of Black would show up, attack someone, rinse, repeat. And they were doing that with multiple different teams, not just Death Triangle. They bothered Fuego del Sol a bunch, hounded the Varsity Blondes and Julia Hart a bunch, beat Death Triangle with Eric Redbeard at Revolution. Exactly. It just went on and on. Both teams just attacking each other with no real storyline progression beyond that. Didn't help that Rey Fenix was out with a broken arm and they wanted to wait until he was back to do the match properly, but credit where it's due, at Double or Nothing 2022, they did the match properly. It ruled. They even tied everything up with Julia Hart turning heel and doing black gobs in Pac's face. To be fair, he's from Newcastle. It's one of the more sanitary ways he's ended a night. A little piece of trios brilliance that was almost worth the wait. Number 6, Bray Wyatt versus John Cena at WrestleMania 36. The worst thing that ever...
Now I understand is why, because is I think the reason why the feud went a little whatever, because the pandemic kind of messed things up a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I think the pandemic kind of had a little hand.
Whatever happened to Bray Wyatt was meeting John Cena, but the psycho clown that laughs last, laughs longest. Wyatt and Cena have actually had 2 feuds that ended with baller matches. Their first in 2014 saw the invincible Wyatt family be made to look like reet knobs for weeks on end, losing at Mania, only winning at Extreme Rules with the helps of Creeps Jr., and then ending with a last man standing match, which was very good indeed, but also ended with Bray being literally buried under a pile of equipment. Fast forward 6 years to WrestleMania 36, and the wretched 2014 feud ends up being the entire basis for a Fiend-Cena feud, although you can't even really call it a feud. Cena just swings by to dunk on Wyatt like an uncle on Christmas Day, popping in to remind everyone that you pissed yourself 10 years ago. It all looked horrible. It was like it was going to happen again until the Firefly Funhouse match happened, and then it was the best cinematic wrestling it's ever been.
That cinematic match was good, though. I enjoyed it.
No matter how many ultraviolet discos Bray wrestles in nowadays, they can't take that away from him. Number 5, the Young Bucks versus FTR Full Gear 2020. AEW really surprised everyone when they...
Yeah, this was interesting. The fact that they was like, there was a feud they have, especially that they've been feuding in the internet for a long time since FTR was the revival in WWE. So I'm a little interested to see about this one.
Look this one up, didn't they? This was back in the day, less than 1 year on from the first Dynamite.
I was watching that. I guess I ain't like really. It's like I must have been ready PlayStation the feud to think about it, because I guess at the time, AEW have so many feuds. It's like they can't keep up with some of their feuds sometimes.
And the company was still riding high from neatly plotted feuds like Cody versus MJF, Moxley versus Omega, the Elite's slow implosion. So when FTR arrived in AEW, the best tag team in NXT history seemed on a natural collision course with the best tag team in AEW history, the Young Bucks. It was a dream match that had been stoked by fan speculation and online pettiness for eons. Surely this thing writes itself. Well, no, it didn't though, with AEW going a really confusing route with it. Both teams being friends, then Bucks were sort of heels, and then FTR were sort of heels.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't really acknowledge their history all that much.
Okay.
And then Young Bucks said if they lost, they'd never challenge for the belts again. Only a year after Cody ran that exact same stip against Chris Jericho, it was a hot, unfocused mess. But then the match was one of the best matches of the year, so...
Okay.
I
give what they say right there. I give what they mean at the time. Yeah, it was like a little whatever. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it though. It was confusing, especially with the line with them is confusing. It's kind of confusing now on a cool, because I think I swear that the leads are supposed to be faced, but I don't know sometimes with their actions sometimes. But either way,
that's wrestling sometimes. Number 4, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, WrestleMania 37. This feud fucking sucked. Can they coexist?
Oh, okay, because the whole coexist thing leading on to that's why I didn't think about being sucked, but. I guess compared to others, some of these Uncle Days make you feel like you were less of a wrestling fan by your thoughts, because you'll say something, they'll hit some kind of rebuttal to make you feel like you're less of a wrestling fan, or you don't know shit about wrestling and stuff like that. Especially the Uncle Days of the nation.
Has turned into a long-running in-joke for wrestling fans, because it seemed to be the only way WWE knew how to book feuds between two baby faces. At the 2021 Royal Rumble, Bianca lasted from number 3 to win the thing, looking like an unspeakable badass in the process. The boss, Sasha Banks, was SmackDown champion at the height of her charismatic superstar powers. Now, I may be only a simple country hyper chicken, but if I was in charge of booking a showdown between two of the hottest prospects on SmackDown, I might not book them to lose back-to-back tag matches on pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, there was kind of like, yeah, I ain't thinking about it. They were like losing tag matches though. It was crazy. I guess it was like a no code. I thought it was because of the codes. I thought they were doing this to lead to Sasha turning heel and facing and going against Bianca, but.
Against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, featuring heavy prominence from Reginald, the Cirque du Soleil Scrappy Doo of the women's fucking tag division.
Oh yeah, fucking Reggie, man.
I just might not do that. Despite both women coming off their feud looking incompetent, even Creative couldn't dim their shine, having one of the best and most emotionally satisfying world title matches in recent WrestleMania history. Because honestly, sometimes wrestling's easy. Just let them fight. Stop overcomplicating things. And speaking of, number 3, The Rock versus Steve Austin, WrestleMania X7. Potentially the best...
How? I'm gonna hear from him, but how? How this was a terrible feud? This was good storyline to me. I liked everything about it, especially into the brawl. How was this? Whatever.
World title match in WrestleMania history at potentially the best WrestleMania in WrestleMania history, so much so that everyone forgets how much needless Deborah was in the feud leading up to X7, because again, WWE panics when it has to book face versus face and tries to stump up artificial drama, as if Rock versus Austin, the two biggest baby faces of the decade, would ever need that. Because he's a little trickster, Vince made Deborah, Steve Austin's wife, who incidentally is as accomplished.
I ain't look into it. I guess I ain't looking into it that much because I do the whole feud, the storyline leading up to the match. That's all. But
at wrestling promos as a tablespoon of cold piss, he made her the manager to The Rock. Almost immediately, the feud turned from a clash of gods into a soap opera squabble. I mean, who doesn't like seeing Steve Austin bickering? That's why we fell in love with him in the first place. The whole angle fell flat and was promptly ditched a few days before Mania. Bam, she's not a factor. And thankfully, no over-the-top soap opera silliness ever again graces Steve Austin Rock feud. That's some patented Adam Blompier restaurant quality sarcasm. Number 2, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar WrestleMania.
The only reason I got a feeling about this because the time they did not like face Roman at the time as well too. Some fans, half of the fans didn't like face Roman. I still didn't get why. I don't care. Maybe explaining it any way it can. It still don't make sense.
Mania 31. To be honest, it wasn't just
crazy, and I'm gonna go there. Back when I was rolling with Roman and hated this guy.
The main event between definitely about to leave the company Brock Lesnar and the least popular dog since Cujo, Roman Reigns. Most matches at WrestleMania 31 were built f***ing terribly. The IC ladder match was built around the wrestlers tiptoeing around like cartoon characters, stealing the belt. Triple H versus Sting was built around magical teleporting Heath Slaters. And
two, the payoff sucked because Triple H shouldn't have won. Sting should have won.
Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker was built around a combustible rocking chair. It was a rough time to be a fan. Reigns won the Royal Rumble that everyone wanted Daniel.
Oh yeah, this is leading right after that one. They did that man dirty.
Bryan to win and was going to fight Lesnar at the WrestleMania where Brock's contract was set to expire. The wrong guy in a match that he couldn't lose. Fucking dreadful. Paul Heyman did his best to inject life into the feud, but no one was having it. It was an absolutely dire situation for all involved, crescendoing with a laughably bad angle on the go-home Raw. Lesnar and Reigns snatching the title off each other like children squabbling over who gets the last pack of quavers in the shop. It almost makes you laugh. The one saving grace of both competitors, they're able to smack each other around.
I think this is the one with Seth cashed in.
Like nobody's business, and the last shot of the feud before the match starts contains no violence. A week later at WrestleMania, one small announcement about Lesnar's contract being extended later, suddenly the match is dynamite, because of course it is. It's intense, it's bloody, there's no pissing around. They hit each other really hard. It's really great, and with a really weird and interesting crowd dynamic before, WWE pulls one of the greatest switcheroos they ever pulled. Bastards, why'd you keep our hope alive? And number 1, WCW versus WWE Survivor Series 2000.
Now, this I understand. We all can know we can definitely blame Time Warner for this shit. We can also blame one Time Warner for this shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Time Warner's fault for this shit.
2001. The Invasion storyline. In 2001, the newly bought WCW, home to wrestling legends like Sting, Ric Flair, Goldberg, the NWO, invaded the turf of their longtime rivals WWF, and precisely none of those legends showed up.
Exactly.
Star power in WCW's invading army was so weak that the chief antagonists of the alliance ended up being Kurt Angle, a man who'd never wrestled a day for World Championship Wrestling, Shane McMahon, and Steve Austin, the guy who was famously fired from WCW and became the biggest star in the industry in the WWF. Makes total sense. Despite the months-long feud being a garbled mess of swerves, title changes, and compromises, even the storyline's fiercest critics have to admit that winner-take-all match at Survivor Series was unreal. Huge.
But yeah, the match was good. Just the storyline. It was an interesting time with the whole alliance situation and all. Alliance, storyline, and all that. It was just not good payoff at first. It's not good payoff storyline-wise. The match was good, and plus probably really good because at the time it was featuring all the people who pretty much was officially signed with WWE. That's what it was. Or everybody else who was officially signed was pretty much half the guys was already signed with WWE. That's on the Alliance. The only two that was from other companies that was on there was RVD and Booker T. Pretty much. So yeah, there was only two that was on there that was like officially signed with WWE. That was like supposedly from the other company, ECW and WCW, that was on the Team Alliance though.
Huge stakes, huge stars, 8 out of the 10 wrestlers were
But-
WWE guys. Shush, though. Hot crowd, wonderfully catty performances from Heyman and JR on commentary.
Oh, they was going at it. And not to mention, also what made this thing hot was the go home show on SmackDown with one of the best SmackDown in it, with each members from each side beating each other ass in with the finisher and all that. It was with Austin at the end, on top, staring at Vince McMahon from the Titantron.
Absolutely not the ending to the inter-promotional war fans had spent years dreaming of, but as an isolated wrestling match, it is sheer lightning and an unfortunate reminder that no matter how bad wrestling gets, you can never stop watching, or you might miss something like this.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, stop it. Why can't I quit you? And that's our list. What's been your favorite great match from a terrible?
So yeah, this is why I won't exactly quit watching WWE if they still go with this. They decided that the tribal chief retain, but I'm on kind of lose a little interest in a little bit as well too, because I've been over the bloodline for a while, and they prologuing it a little too long. But other than that, shout out to partsFUNknown for this video right here, though. That's why I didn't want to do a double video, because this video was like 12 minutes, and I'm already at 20 minutes of this video of recording. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.